Greetings one and all to this week's episode of 10 o'clock. I am your regular murder doctor, Loz, and that over there is your occasional ghost, Xeno G-Lion. I don't know, I just thought I'd mix it up. And yep, we're episode 356 of 10 o'clock. I wonder if I've actually confused anyone. And we're here to talk about Warframe, aren't we, Loz?
Mostly.
Mostly. What do you mean mostly? What the fuck else are we talking about?
We'll also make some form of reference to some of the game, probably World of Warcraft. We'll then have some small story, which will be some history in Xeno's life, where he was working, and somebody screwed up something or annoyed him at his job that day. Maybe we'll also comment on what we're drinking or what we're eating, then maybe a small deluge into about the lack of hats made by Warframe. Then we'll finish off by looking at random pictures that will have maybe something to do with Warframe, and then just mumble into obscurity.
I think the last thing you forgot is the demand for double memes. So, right, moving on to the first thing of every week, which is the emblems. So, Loz, you can see the emblems. You can see them twice.
Yes.
I
find it quite a close call on this one, because I like yours more because of the style of it, but it's very messy.
I think it's a lot harder to make out what's going on, certainly.
The purity in my one is quite nice, and it's...
Also, mine has deep levels of edgelord, but I kind of want to call this a draw, because I like them both for very contrasting reasons. Like, I like the complexity of mine, but I also like the simplicity of yours. I like the use of color in mine, but I like the again, simple colors of yours.
I want to say mine wins, because though, I mean, you say it's simple, obviously simple compared to yours, but I don't think it's that simple.
It's just white.
I think it's done a very good job of adding in the amount of detail and effort onto that lotus without losing it. That's a really cool lotus flower. I think that's, pretty detailed. I mean, yeah, the rest is just some straight lines, yeah, but the lotus flower I think is complex enough. So I think yours is just a bit of a mess. If it didn't have...
Are you looking at it on the image I've sent you, or are you looking at it...
Let me just give it one more thing. Let me have a look at the image I sent you. That's fine. Let me have a proper look at it. I'll even go to the show original, and I'll zoom in and enhance. Yeah, that's even more messier now. I'm like, so the background is the lotus silhouette symbol. Yeah. But then...
With katanas...
Yeah, I get the katanas and I get the red, and it's in red. But then what's the rest? Is it on fire? Is that supposed to be sentient bits at the bottom?
It's edge.
No. And then what's in the middle?
Edge.
You've got the lotus thing. What's in that middle bit? Something's filled it in. There's something behind the back. I'm just like, no, yours is a mess. It's terrible.
No, I think that's just lighting. It's just like glow. Anyway,
it's almost got like
fine, whatever. Let's move on.
I win.
God, you can moan me into submission.
I think I'm still behind massively, so I'm going to win this one back on this one.
I haven't actually...
Tally the scores on those. You have to do it by 365. And...
Oh, what? Do you have any idea how long that's going to take?
Yeah.
What do you mean,
well,
yes?
You could ask people to help. People love helping.
People do love helping. Right, okay,
awesome.
so moving on to Dojo Dusting. Dojo Dusting? Dojo Dusting. That is, yeah, we do that. Why? I need to fix this. Loz, put in the time. I need to fix this.
I've got it, yeah.
I need to fix this. There we go. That's how it should look. Remind me to modify the template so the topics are before everything else. Right, so Dojo Dusting. So there's a couple of things. First thing is, surprisingly, got our first, got the first Ko-fi supporter, which is... shocking. Xeno, modify the bloody template, you rambunctious rogue.
I left your message.
Yeah, clearly. Anyway, so we've got our first Ko-fi supporter, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, sorry, my brain is about 10 steps behind. I've barely realised we started this episode. That's great. That's really cool. So, do you want to explain what is Ko-fi and what is that?
So, long story short, Patreon may be going away because
we'll have issues.
They have issues, but we don't know how far the issues will go. It's looking a little sketch for them. But as an alternative means of support, you can go to ko-fi or Phi.
Link in the description of this video.
Slash Xenogalleon, and you'll find my Ko-fi account or Coffee account or whatever you want to call it, or Ko-fi account. And you can do monthly donations if you so wish. For $1, you get your name on the credits. You get the ability to ask questions. There's other tiers. I think the $5 one is the opportunity to be on a 10 o'clock episode. It's not a raffle. It's just we need to schedule everything in. And the $15 is being on Arbiters. So again, that's if you want to do it. Blah, blah, you get the idea. Yep, so that was awesome. But there's actually been some discovery of what having Ko-fi supporters means. So if you are a Patreon supporter, we're gonna try and drive people to ask questions on Discord. The reason for this is Ko-fi does not support replies to posts, the ability to lock down posts, or even it doesn't support a lot of stuff, which, okay, fair enough. It's primarily a glorified tip jar. It doesn't matter. So in Discord, every week there will be a new channel within the supporter section for questions for 10 o'clock. And if you want to put your questions there instead of on the Patreon posts, that's fine. The Patreon posts will continue for the time being until consistently there are no questions asked on it. But
I just want to offer it. Could also maybe people DM you through Twitter?
I would rather they didn't do... They can. I'd rather they didn't do that in case I miss one. That's my biggest concern. Because Twitter has like this approval thing of you aren't following this person. Are you sure you want to read this?
Well, if they're supporting you on Patreon or Ko-fi, maybe they could start by saying, "Hey, Xeno, I'm supporting you," and then you're like, "Aha! I see the message. I shall follow you back." So there you go. So there's another bonus for if you give Xeno money, he will definitely follow you back on Twitter.
Wow. Right. Okay. The next thing on Dojo Dusting is next week we'll be late. So I'm going away for a holiday. I won't be back until the Sunday. We're aiming to get 357 out on Tuesday next week. So, right, okay. That's it for Dojo Dusting.
What? I'm going to say for next week, I've been trying to set something up. And so instead of using a webcam next week, I will hopefully use something else, which should be fun, a surprise if it works.
I am just as scared as everyone else.
You know what it is. I was going to say Tobiah.
I was going to act ignorant. Okay, fine. Just ruin that. Yes and Loz. Yes and.
Yes and.
Nuh-uh. Oh my god, shut up you. Right.
Moving on
to the topics for this week. So... our first topic for the week is the gunner seat is badly designed and needs a rework.
Ooh, getting some railjack stuff. That sounds
right.
Cool.
And then topic 2, do you think the Eidolon could ever recompose itself back into its complete form so that we can fight this thing's true form in Empyrean? Right, okay, so that's topic 2.
Empyrean?
Yeah, so topic 1, I think it means railjack, but you get the idea.
2 railjack topics. Woo!
Right, so topic 1. The gunner seat seems like it was designed to multitask, dealing with borders, fixing the ship, using the ship like killing cannon. Okay. But the crippling...
Using the ship killing cannon.
Yeah. But the crippling mounting and dismounting time makes the process way more annoying than it needs to be. Low damage due to the loss of accuracy due to pilot dodging enemy fire. The gunner is bound to miss more shots than the pilot making a worse damage dealer than the pilot ever through, though the role is just dealing damage, at least while he is manning the guns. allows gunners to quickly swapping. I think it's supposed to be allow gunners to quickly swap between boarding cannon, side guns, and ship killer cannon. Just press F would swap the players between them. Allow the gunner to quickly switch positions. Increase the projectile speed and damage of the guns when they are equipped on the side points. Change railjack skill types to tactical. Wait. Change railjack skill types to tactical, combat, and mobility. I don't understand what that means. Allow the pilot the seat to equip. Allow the pilot seat to equip two avionics, mobility, or combat. The gunner seat to equip two avionics, combat, and tactical, as is, but only 2 slots. There are some elements of this I do like. There's some elements I don't like.
There's a little bit on here. Using shift will deploy a shield wall that the player can control to protect the railjack. Shield wall properties change depending on the currently equipped shield generator. The player can send the shield flying forward, similar to Profit Taker, dealing damage but depleting the shield. WSADs will control the shield movement. And there's a picture of a ship with a shield, like an orbital thing. Yeah, to me, I do love railjack. One thing that has always made me feel sad, though, is the feel of the side guns. I don't get why they have a heat mechanic. If I'm in those gun turrets, I just want to be constantly shooting. And I really feel there should have been a gun option on there, which is just you can just keep shooting. And someone's probably going to put in the comments, but if you get tier 3, this type of weapon with this mod on this ship with this energy thing or whatever, it never runs out of heat. But that's like, yeah, that's not how it should be. The base, those side guns should just, machine gun fire should just never stop. So you can always feel like you're shooting things. And they feel like they're shooting a water pistol anyway on those things. And the fact that then you sit there and say, I've barely done any damage and they've overheated. So a heat mechanic on those side guns should have been silly. And then the alternative side gun should have been like a railgun version where you shoot and you have to wait as a cooldown 3 seconds per shot or something. That should have been the alternatives. Instead, they're all based on this heat
do you
mechanic.
mean alt fire?
No. As in like you swap. So the alternative turrets, those are the base turrets. Just machine guns that you always can just keep shooting forever. You can sit there and they're spinning around that turret, just shooting. So and then alternative versions.
I want to check if I've not missed something entirely. Are you proposing this as an addition, or can you? So can you already have 2 guns per slot, or
no? I mean, well, okay, you technically because you see 2 turrets like this, but is that what you mean?
No, my problem is I've barely done any railjack compared to a lot of people, so I don't know the full ins and outs of wait, can you already have 2 guns on those side mounts?
No, you can't. Okay, you can have just but the feel of those guns, though, I never use them. I never use side guns, and I never feel like the front, compared to the strength of the front guns, where the pilot really shouldn't have guns anyway, in my opinion, or it should just have the big cannon. That's what the front gun should be. It just feels that it just needed a bit more. I think if they had a bit more time in the oven, they would have really hammered it down. It just feels that they're too loose in what those side guns' role is. So I can see what this person's trying to do here. They're just trying to improve and just flesh out that concept a bit. By the way, they used white text in it's a forum post. So I have to keep highlighting it so I can actually read it properly.
Well, it's because they copy and pasted it.
Oh, yeah. No, I meant on the forum itself, the actual original post of this.
Yeah, because they will have written it somewhere that has a light color, and then they pasted it, and it's copied the color over.
Right. Now, they did point out about, how do you feel about the one thing they said in here was the mounting and dismounting animation. They said that was too long.
Yeah, the time is quite long. I wouldn't necessarily feel it has to... I think the big problem for me is how often do you have to do it? Or maybe it's something you could spec into with a talent, or the further you get into one of the intrinsics. The further you get into one of the intrinsics, the faster that comes. Like, it gets. So like the gunner intrinsic, the more you, the higher you get, the faster the in and out goes. I'm totally down for something like that. I am absolutely in love with the swapping between weapon positions by hitting F. That was a proposed one in here.
Was it?
Yeah, allow gunners to quickly swap between boarding cannon. I don't know what boarding cannon is. Side guns.
What? So you don't know which is, sorry?
Boarding cannon.
The launcher, the one that I will never use.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. I thought I would call that like Arcwing launcher. No, right. With you now. Yeah, swap between the boarding cannon, the side guns, and the ship killer cannon by just pressing F. Like I'm really on board for that.
I can actually, so it's a quick travel within the ship when you're in a position.
Yes, right.
I think that could be useful actually.
Like I think that should be on, I don't know, maybe Gunnery 3 or maybe even just there permanently, like just from the get-go.
So when you're in any of the fixtures of the ship, you can move between them fairly easily. I think rather than coming out and going to them. Yeah, because though it looks cool to see the animation of coming out of one, going to the other, it is very time consuming. And I do feel, because of the way Railjack is at the moment, and they don't seem to want to put content out for it, that maybe making quality of life improvements to just get the game, to get it more enjoyable or more straightforward would be helpful. And that I think is a really good one, actually.
I also like the idea. So one thing I really dislike with some first-person shooter games...
Oh, sorry, I just put out increase the projectile speed. Sorry, I didn't read this one when you read that. Increase the projectile speed and damage of guns when they're equipped on the side points. Yes! Sorry.
I want to get back to that one. But the one thing I really dislike with a lot of first-person shooters these days is that when you're cycling through weapons, you have to go through each weapon. There was a period in time where you actually had a radial menu to swap between weapons. Right. I would seriously like it for this. So you don't hit F to cycle through all the positions. You like hold down F, and then you can... And that way, if you hold down F, you see this radial menu of which one you want to jump to. You could also see which ones are currently occupied as well.
Yeah, because obviously that with one hold, you can see where everyone is in the ship. I suppose maybe this would be in the intrinsic... No, not the intrinsic, the command menu or whatever it is.
Command intrinsics, yeah. But it's are we ever going to get that?
I am really worried about that.
The thing that you pointed out, increase the projectile speed and damage of the guns. Yeah. I'm fine to increase the damage. I'm not okay to increase the speed. What I would like to see happen is the either faster fire. Definitely, well, I think we're all on board. Get rid of the overheat, right? All of us are on board.
That's the thing. I'd rather get rid of the overheat and give the weapons unique features. Like this weapon has a one-shot 6 second. I know you could say, "Oh, it works just the same way." It's like, but it doesn't feel the same. It makes all the weapons on the Railjack feel samey and blurg. I just don't feel. It's the
stamina bar. It's the stamina bar for side guns, right?
Yeah.
You have to stop to calm. But I am totally on board for getting rid of the overheat, but the big thing I would like is a clearer... What are those markers called? Where you've got a leading marker, like the enemy is flying in this way, you have a marker to indicate where to shoot at to hit them. So first off, a bigger one of those...
The leading aim reticule thing?
Yeah. Bigger one of those for the side guns, not for the front position. And partly an auto aim. So if you're close to it, it will snap to it effectively. You know what I mean? Like, because I totally get what this person is saying. The amount of times where someone's like doing weird, dodgy driving, piloting, and like I'm just like, what the shit is this pilot doing? Is it drunk? I swear this pilot is drunk. And then it turns out
that's part of the problem. I do love how the turret. Obviously, the turret doesn't spin based on the ship, so it is. But at the same time, it still has some effects from the ship. So yeah, as you say, you get some drunk piloting effects. But then they made the Railjack super maneuverable instead of a capital ship, which is what it should have been. Okay, it all goes back to why does the pilot have guns? And they got rid of the whole like managing the ship thing of the pilot with like swapping.
No, that was supposed to be the engineer, but yeah.
I was supposed to engineer, but still, of like swapping from power things. To be honest, take away the guns off the pilot and give them some pilot controls to do with swapping power to engines, swapping power to shields, and make it a very slower ship. Everything has to be fast. That just doesn't work.
I'm not quite sure. I'd be interested to know what our listeners would want. Would they rather have the control of the systems to the pilot, or would they rather have the control to the systems on the engineer? I would personally prefer it on the engineer. I get what you're saying about get rid of the guns, but I think then the pilot would be too bored. I think another thing...
Oh, I can give you that. That's why if you take away... You can't... If you're going to give the things to engineer, I wouldn't take away the pilot's guns. That's the thing. You've got to give the pilot something to do other than just fly the ship, but then...
But the other thing I would seriously do for the gunners is have, and we were saying this for Arkwing, you have basically a 3D model of the railjack, and you can see, relative to where you're looking, which way the bloody ship is pointing. Because, for the most part, it's not a big deal, but when the ship is doing weird, drunken piloting crap, it gets really difficult to work out which way you're meant to be facing, because... how often do you have co-gunners go, you watch, there's a big thing. Where? To the front of the ship. I haven't got a bloody clue where the front of the ship is anymore because I've got this 360 view.
Yeah.
It's not
they promised us a 3D map for Arkwing, and we didn't get that either.
They were investigating it. I don't think they ever promised it.
They said they just needed to fix the maths of it.
Right,
and
so...
it never materialized.
But...
Like Arkwing!
Yeah. So... I totally get where this person is coming from. I think that some of this stuff is huge quality of life improvements to...
What? Okay, so they were mentioning about this. Change your railjack types tactical combat mobility. Allow the pilot seat to equip 2 avionics, mobility or combat. The gunner seat to equip 2 avionics, combat tactical as is, only 2 slots. What is your feel for the abilities of the railjack and things? I like Arkwing, a bit like Arkwing. The powers, obviously they don't... Warframe have powers, and they use these powers all the time. Let's give them to Arkwing. Let's give them to Railjack. And I just feel that they're so...
The problem for the...
Weird to use.
The problem for the Railjack ones is they're weird to use because everyone has them, right? Everyone has the same... Realistically, the avionics... I would argue the avionics should come with the Warframe. And then if...
The Warframe?
Yeah. So you choose the avionics. If you're the pilot, you have these 3 avionics, these batteries.
You said Warframe, though.
Yes, I know. Let me finish.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So if you're the pilot, you have these 3 avionics. If you're the side gunner, you have these 3... this other set of 3 avionics, so on and so forth. And that way, you actually feel like you're contributing with abilities that you're bringing to the railjack, right? So if you're the pilot, you could choose, I want the big shield thing, but if I'm the pilot, I might go, no, I want the big black hole thing.
Do you mean that certain Warframes bring certain avionics?
No, I mean, you could choose it like a mod, like you can in the...
But they are, that's how it is now.
No, because everyone has the same ones, right? So if you choose the 3 avionics for your ship, those are the avionics that I have to use as well, right? If you don't have any battle avionics... tough titties, right? I can't use anything. That's what I'm proposing.
Very weird shift, but fair enough. Yeah, I can see what you're proposing, but that's not how... The thing is, I just feel that because... I don't know, maybe make it something fundamental to the ship and not that mods you have to equip, whatever. Because it's just, I see it there on the ship. That if I get in someone else's ship, I'm like, there's some avionics. I don't remember what those buttons mean or the symbols mean. I'm just like, what are those?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember. What am I supposed to remember what those mean? The labels there or anything. It's just a funny picture. I don't remember what that funny picture is. I don't have that one on my ship. I just... And then, so I just feel there's a very disconnect there between those. They just don't... You don't feel like you're using them or that they're attached to the ship. It doesn't... Maybe they should rework it that you have to build your ship into one of 3 ways. You build a stealth ship, you build an armor ship, you build a... Rather than... To understand, it also goes back to the avionics the page of avionics. I don't like that page. Mods are cool because they got pictures and you see what they are. The avionics are like weird diamonds.
Yeah.
Weird widgets. You're like,
they are better now that they've eliminated so many of them.
they've eliminated all the ones you're like, is that the best one of this?
Is that a
But
good
then
one or is
this
that a
one,
bad one? Oh,
do I
it's a
rank that
bad
one or that
one.
one, or do I wait till I get that one to drop? I don't
Yeah.
know what I think.
So I'm glad that they've changed that, but I do feel that if everyone can bring their own battle avionics for the various different positions, it would work so much better. I mean, the fact that someone running around the actual ship itself, putting out the fires, can they do the avionics? No, they can't do the avionics. Again, I feel that anyone that's doing like the quote-unquote engineering position should also have avionics, stuff that actually help aboard the ship, right? It shouldn't just be railroaded to the gunner, well, anyone in a gunner seat, basically, or the pilot. Yeah? So yeah, I think we all I don't think there's a single person in the world that says Railjack is good as is. It all needs some massive TLC.
Well, it's hard to say. Which would you want right now? Do you want a redesign of the core systems to make them thing, or more content?
I think
I'm gonna let you pick one.
I don't think that. Oh no, I don't. I think if I was only to pick one. Okay, fine. If I had to choose.
Oh, yes, you're choosing not which one exclusive. You're choosing which one do you want first, as in now.
That's really hard.
It is, isn't it? Because I want more content, because I feel the content we've got is so stale and just one note. It's really hard to test how the feel of the Railjack and all the different features you've got for it. Whereas I would say, oh, let's give us more content. But if you give us content first, it's like, but then now that we've got the very content, we can see how limited it is. So we should get that change first. So we get the change first, but we can't investigate.
I think no matter what you choose, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because
it needs both. I mean, we all agree it needs both.
I think if you were to choose the content first, you could keep the attention of the player base for a bit longer than if you were to choose the rework first. But the problem is, if you go for the content first, it makes doing the rework a lot harder,
because it has to work for the new.
It has to work for the new stuff as well.
I think you'd also get more. The thing is, I think maybe content first, because then you'd also get more goodwill from people, and more people would be more willing to play some more. Because I think everyone's gone, yes, Railjack, we've gone to Railjack, and every mission is the same.
I think, like, as I said, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think doing the rework first is the more sensible thing for DE.
Well, that's what Scott said in the interview on Shy's channel, that they wanted the foundation of Railjack to be solid before they moved on. But I think they have shored up the foundations enough with their improvements.
I don't think they have.
You don't think they have?
No, I don't think they have.
But I don't think. I mean, like, for instance, why do we never see Railjack content on these videos? I'm watching you doing a Grineer defense tile.
Because it's boring as shit. It's frustrating. The only
is it which would make it less boring as shit? Which in one thing would you want if the gameplay was improved, or do you want more content for using it?
I think if you were to go down the route of more content, there would probably be one episode of 10 o'clock with Railjack footage, and then I would sideline it again. And
if they make some fun game modes, who knows?
I don't know. Like, I think I just, you could get the new Warframe on it. Fuck it, I'll buy it. I really just don't want to touch Railjack. Like, I haven't even finished, I don't know if I finished Saturn, because I'm...
Oh, you haven't even got to... Have you done the... Wait, you've done the... Oh, you haven't finished... But you've got the quest done, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I only got the Shedu by doing Scarlet Spear.
Scarlet Spear,
yeah. So it's like...
Way to remove one of the only few reasons to do Railjack.
But it's like... Yeah, I feel damned if you need to do everything. You can't just do it once. And the problem is, if you were to do the content first, I think it would take them longer to do the rework. Because, again, they may have to rework the new content that they do. So instead of something that would take them, let's say, complete hypothetical, it takes them 2 months to do the rework, right? First. But they go for 2 months to do the new content. It could take them 4 months to do the rework. So
I don't know. I think more content is the way to go. I
Okay.
mean, you can say it, breaking down my muscle. Think of Warframe in general from the core base game we had with only a handful of Warframes, limited game modes, and like take Trinity for example. Of how many improvements Trinity's had over the years. It's only when you add more content,
Nerfs.
Nerfs, but yeah. So yeah, definitely, yeah. So it was only it only
I've
with more
broken him.
content
I've
could
just
they.
completely broken Lars. Just because, yeah, the yes section of 10 o'clock.
All the nerfs. So the content allowed them to see what needed to be changed. And if you just sat on just the 2 tile sets that they had originally with a 1 tile set, they would never have seen, and all different game modes they've added, they would never have seen all the different scenarios where it's like, oh, by the way, maybe we should remove blessings, unlimited range.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No,
Things like that. So
you have a very valid point.
And I think that's the same, because that's the same path they've gone for Arcwing and Railjack now. They've both put them out as I think minimum viable product with limited game modes, limited enemies, limited maps to fight on, and then they go, oh, no one is playing it. Oh well, we'll try and improve it a bit by improving the foundation of it. People are still not playing it because there's no content. I think content. I'm leaning now more towards content's more important.
Fair enough. Right, should we go to replies?
Yeah, let's get replies on this. Does anyone really use Railjack guns for their intended purpose? What's their unintended purpose?
To pick your nose? I don't know.
Cosmic light show?
I don't know what this person was trying to say. They're not does.
Well, as in, does anyone actually bother using the side guns? Is what that actually boils down to.
Yeah. No.
And generally, no, I don't.
That's the big thing. Like whenever I've done Railjack, pretty much my entire ship gets abandoned, and everyone just goes into Arcwing, and vice versa. If I'm on someone else's Railjack, I just go into Arcwing.
So I go into Arcwing and go do the mission objectives, and then go to the enemy asteroid and do whatever it is you have to do, and then I normally go on cruise ships. Though I have played a few missions recently with people where I get to get somebody who has a super tooled up Railjack, and they just demolish cruise ships faster than I actually, than flying into it, destroying unlocking the reactor, destroying the reactor, getting out, waiting for it to blow up. They just blow up cruise ships. So all I have to do is just go do the asteroid mission. I've had this a few times, and then that's it really. And the pilot is on their weapons on their ship. It's just so good. They just blow up the fighters, and it's just like, why do we need the side guns?
Yeah,
I just don't see people using them. And I personally think we need to get those guns off that pilot slot because they're just. It would also give less because that's what the pilots. That's one of the reasons why you've got all these, as you were saying, spin cycle piloting things is because they're trying to shoot things because you gave them guns, so they're trying to shoot things instead of focusing on surviving. And if they didn't shoot things, they wouldn't need to fly around all crazy. They'd be like, well, I'm going to go over there. I'm going to just focus on my shields. There's less reason to go.
What would I give them?
I mean, give them the main cannon.
No, I would detach. So first off, how would I? Oh god, this would be so hard to control. I would detach the turrets from the. So these would no longer be guns like they would be on like a jet plane or something like that. I would detach them so that they could point anywhere within your field of view, right? So, within like reason or whatever. And you could point at something else. While you're traveling in a direction, you could point and shoot at it. But again, one thing, first off, limit the range that you
basically what I think what you're trying to say is you want to give it tank controls, so it has a turret which is independent from the driving mechanism of the direction and things.
Yeah, so you'd have to have like really easy use of swapping between I'm controlling the guns separate from the direction I'm piloting, but you need the mouse for both, which is really hard.
That's easy in 2D space or 2D playing, like as I say for a tank, where you're like, I'm going to, I'm holding forward, so my tank's doing this, and yet my view is sideways and up an angle because I'm trying to shoot at something over there, and then I'm over here, and then you rotating the tank versus the turret. That's easy to do. In 3D space, it's just crazy. Yeah. I've just thought of what they should give the pilot.
Go on.
Well, first of all, I'm going to do the gun reference and say funnels, but basically drones. They have drones to control. So and they can control the AI of the drones or the positioning of the drones, swap them to defense, swap them to attack, swap them to repair, and so that they're managing drones along with piloting.
I'm down for that. I'd be totally down for that. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, no, I like that. Should we...
And then that would be just let's remove the guns off of it, and then swap in for the drone, and then that's what you upgrade and stats and control, and that way you can just focus on flying and do. Right. Next comment. Why would you ever use gunner seat if the pilot will outdo you by a long margin? You are better using Amisha to slow, and at this point, why even have a gunner seat? It is effectively useless. Railjack is a group activity, but the pilot seat is objectively superior to the gunner. One, because everything the gunner can do the pilot does better. Huh? Yeah,
I completely agree.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, they just summarized my point. Yeah, I'm with them on that. I think we need to get rid of those guns off the pilot.
Yeah, I like the idea of the funnels. I like the idea that what you could do is have defensive funnel or defense mode where you're targeting stuff that's close to the railjack, or repair mode, or
I think maybe also you could assign targets, like you can point at attack that, and then maybe you can even control the amount of drones on the three mechanisms: repair, attack, defense. And maybe you can go like, right, I'm going to reduce my defense, put them on attack. I don't know.
My big concern is the biggest concern I have is maybe it has to be on a hold F button to do this, is detaching the mouse look, because you're using the mouse. You need the mouse to pilot. There is no way you can do it without the mouse. But I think if you're like hold F, click, click, let go, continue to fly, it would be fine. So I think you need, like, as I was saying with this whole, I'm ditching the turret idea, but the whole problem with looking and controlling, you need the mouse to do both, and it becomes a lot harder. So I think you need like something like a pop-up screen. Oh yeah, set funnels to defense mode or whatever. Yeah. Cool.
I mean, talk about the way of implementing, but I think that would give them something to do, and that's what we're trying to do. And that's why the pilot has guns.
Yeah,
but they're the best guns on the ship.
They are, which is wrong.
And that's wrong. Yeah, they should swap.
Filthy.
At the very minimum, they should swap. The side guns should be superior to the front guns.
Yeah,
the very minimum. But they just don't. It's just last one. I see people intentionally put the worst guns they can on the gunner turret to discourage people from using them, alongside directly telling the squad in chat, don't use the guns, don't touch anything. I'm sure if it was an option, people would totally unequip the side guns. Pilot/host would rather just spam void hole than dump munitions into the clusterfuck. Do it all himself. Can't let any randos in the gunner seat be a distraction or waste flux ammo. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that they share ammo.
Yeah.
And the use of this ammo, and it's just like, yeah. And like the void holes and the massive shields and things you get. Why do we even have these at this point? They should have gone with a basic ship to start with, where it's just about shooting things. Instead, they wanted to give it all these crazy abilities. It's like they really, as you say, there. It's like, well, just put a void hole up, shoot things and do it. What can everyone else do? Go Amisha and slow everyone down. It's like
I think another big thing with the gunners, they are the ones that should have control over like the alt fire rockets, or it shouldn't, again, like just they really need to just rework the pilot.
Yeah, man, it's I think it's a bit of a trade-off. It's like they don't want to they gave the things to the pilot because they don't want the pilot to be bored, but because they gave everything to the pilot, it diminishes all other roles to just the pilot.
I mean,
so if we took all those off and we gave them to the side gunners, well, what's the pilot do? Well, they're just piloting around. It's like,
no, but we've got your funnels, haven't we?
I think funnels. Yeah, I mean that.
So
that
I think the simple premise is the engineer focuses on internal systems, the pilot focuses on external systems, and the gunners focus on the offensive. Like there you go. You've got the whole kit and caboodle. But I think part of the problem again was the whole desire to have this interaction with Arkwing as well, and that was whoops.
Doesn't interact with Arkwing at all.
No, the fact that you get out and you go board other people's ships and stuff like that, and yeah,
I think it's fine.
no, I think again, Arkwing was a bit shoehorned in. I mean, it's better here than it was in Plains of Eidolon, but it feels like Arkwing patches more than it should. Oh no, I have to go do an objective. Get in my Arkwing. Oh, I have to go deal with that cruise ship. Get in my Arkwing. Oh, I have to do so and so. Get in my Arkwing. Like this weapons, like, you know, when I first started Railjack, the Singus was like one of the best guns there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's.
I see. Yeah, no. So instead of, I think I know what you're trying to say here is instead of Railjack having its own unique role in Railjack missions, it basically becomes a really solid crutch because, can you even deploy somebody in the cannon into the asteroid?
Not tried.
Yeah, I mean, so you just, because that's the thing. I look at cruise ships, and I just go, well, the easiest way is just to go in the back and shoot the reactor, instead of dealing it with the Arkwing solution. Sorry, with the Railjack solution. I just go and Arkwing them. Whereas instead, Arkwing should have their own unique thing that, you know, some game modes, maybe there's like, we need some, you know, you grab a, so the Arkwing grabs a, what's the word? Decoy beacon, and they pretend to be they carry it off. They have to carry it off to a set thing while the Railjack goes somewhere else, and they lead ships away because they're on the scanners. That Arkwing now looks like the Railjack, and the Railjack goes invisible, kind of thing. That which, you know, the Arkwing is doing that. It's not like, oh, but you could also shoot them. You know, it's the Arkwing is doing its own thing rather than just being a crutch for us. I can't really explain it very well, but I see what you're trying to say. Right, I think though this is a topic we're gonna have to come back to when and if Railjack ever becomes what it was ever meant to be.
Isn't the next topic? Isn't the next one involving Railjack?
Yes and no.
Right, so
it's a different way.
So topic 2 that Loz will take down the time for.
Yep.
Hit that button. Did it work? Yes, it did. So I was like trying to check, but I realized I couldn't see the thing. Do you think the Eidolon could ever?
I don't. I generally don't.
You don't think? Right, so do you think the Eidolon could ever recompose itself back into its complete form so that we can fight this thing's true form in Empyrean? We know the Eidolon that we fight now. We know that the Eidolons that we fight now are fragments of the whole. So what we got to actually fight... So what if we actually got to fight a fully recombined Eidolon? It could be an event or something and involve the Unum starting to emerge from her temple. Wait, what? And flood the waters with Kuva. Wow, sorry, that escalated quickly. Okay, so this is an event proposition. They're proposing an event here.
Whoa. Watford doesn't have events.
Events involving Eidolons, right?
Unplugged!
Event 1.
Scarlet Spear was alright.
Yeah, event 1. Stop them. Eidolons start spawning at east end of the plains and lumber towards the west where the spill is. The shields are drastically weaker and no longer regenerate. The goal is to kill as many Eidolons as possible before 3 or so make it to the other end. Event 2, Eidolon Reborn. Too many fragments reached the Kuva spill and started coalescing into an approximation of the original form and start to take off. Players initiate Arkwing missions to shoot the chunks of the sentient that are still reforming to try and stop it from taking off. Mission is on a timer for completion. Players earn points by destroying as many reforming chunks before the timer runs out. Timer could be extended if players find cracks in the sentient and fly in to sabotage it from the inside. Event 3, destroy the sentient in outer space. Despite the player's efforts, the sentient was able to reform into its former state and take off, enriched by Kuva. Players initiate an Empyrean mission where they fight it. Rewards could be some relatively generic rewards with a new Revenant helmet, Railjack skin, and some evergreen useful bits like catalyst or a reactor. Who needs catalysts these days?
I don't mind. You always need catalysts or reactors. I like the way they've suggested rewards. They're like clearly, like we say, non-main gameplay affecting things, mainly cosmetic. It's like yes.
So there are parts of this I like, but the one big thing I really don't like is the perception of winning a mission by taking chunks off the Eidolon, but then it turns out you failed anyway.
Right? No, it's like the Fomorians.
You destroy the Fomorians.
You still do a mission where you attack the Fomorian. That doesn't mean you destroy it in one mission. No, sometimes you could fail.
Its objective is to destroy the relay.
Relay, yeah.
Right? But it doesn't destroy the relay.
It does if you don't blow it up.
No, but the idea is that you're winning and then you... Okay. My point is, I don't think it's great.
No, I think what you're missing here is that they haven't quite explained that what it would do. I think this would work like a Fomorian event. So in event 2, when you're blowing chunks off of it, so basically instead of this goes up, this one Eidolon goes up, it blows up, that's it, and the event is over. I think it would have to be a recurring thing where Eidolons are assembled, sent into space, and blown up. So the better people do in 2 changes how it is in 3.
One, I couldn't see them actually doing that as a development thing. 2, I don't...
Which part?
Well, I can't see DE developing that.
They have. It's Fomorians.
The third element... Again, Fomorians haven't done this. The third part of the event being dictated by the second part.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? It's just one extra step.
So, okay, so what if the players turn around and go like, fuck it.
Then
what happens to the third part?
Well, what we can do is if people don't finish the third part, they don't get points. Or they don't get a bonus, which you get for finishing the third part.
Actually, here's a question for you. Are you seeing this as 3 separate missions, or are you seeing this as one complete round trip?
I'm seeing this as 3 separate missions that would take each stage taking a day or 2.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I just thought to myself, wait a second.
If you think as one
no,
of trial stage, sort of like a trial where it's multiple missions.
I wasn't thinking that, but it's just like, so logistically, parts 1 and 2 just don't, they're irrelevant because you'll always get to part 3.
Yes. No. What
do you mean no?
So I think it would, right. So what you do is you'd vary it. So some of the first Eidolons you do are easier, and then they get harder and harder and harder and harder. And if you skip part 2, part 3 is harder. The health bar or the remaining health in part 3 is based on how well you do in 2 and 1.
But you cannot beat it in 2 or 1.
Yes, you can. For the first ones. Well, maybe not. Maybe I think you're right. Maybe there's a maximum amount of reduction. Let's say I'm just putting numbers on this just for the sake of it. Let's say if the more people do event 1, you can remove up to 25% of its health. The more you do event 2, you can remove another 25% of its health. And so event 3, it has a maximum 50% of its health. But then, as I said, it's a recurring event. The later ones would be harder.
So
or maybe it get harder and easier.
So, okay, here's a question for you. Would there be a hypothetical? You have, they're saying you have to, if 3 Eidolons get to X location on the plains.
Sentience.
No, it says Eidolons.
Which part are we talking about? Part 1?
But yeah, the goal is to kill as many Eidolons as possible before 3 make it to the other end.
Yeah,
then they reform to become a sentient.
Oh, got you.
Right. So my question is, if you do not bother to do part 1,
yeah,
does that then mean part 2 starts sooner?
No, fixed time.
Fixed time, okay. And that's part of the problem I have, is that there's a disconnect with fixed time.
No, because there's a set amount of Eidolons which you're going to get out of the river and run to the point.
Right, but it doesn't matter how many Eidolons get to the other point. You could have 0% get there or 100% get there.
It's a community-based thing.
But it will always happen so by this time, it will always evolve into step 2.
Yeah, but if enough people have done it in step 1, it will lose 25% of its total health. And even if you've gotten to that, because I'm thinking of this from multiple levels and also from a gameplay point of view, I don't want to be like, aha, you've beaten all the sentences in step 1, move on to step 2. I just instantly get Arid Fear vibes where, exactly. Oh, but I was doing part of that. So it has to be a fixed time. Let's say, I'm just going to put numbers on
board that.
Event 1, 48 hours. Event 2, 48 hours. I'm a bit dubious. Maybe event 3, 36 hours or something like that. Duration. And so it allows people to compete in it. As long as people hit the window or the amount that is required, 25% of its total health gets chopped off up to in that bit. But it still keeps going to allow people to participate in that part of the stage.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Right. Oh God. So the next part about the whole this escalated quickly, like, I'm not entirely sure. Has there been any lore element at all ever that discusses Eidolons and the sentience and Kuva, like them working?
Yes, I was actually just thinking about this. What is Kuva? We don't even know.
Kuva's the MacGuffin.
Let's have a look. Yes, MacGuffin. Let's go to the Warframe Wiki and see what the Warframe Wiki says about the Kuvas. No, not Kuva Lich, Kuva. Just want Kuva. Hang on. It's like how to kill Kuva Lich. I'm like, no, just tell me about Kuva. Just want to tell me about Kuva. Right, Kuva.
It's just the MacGuffin.
Kuva resource, I guess. A mysterious red fluid coveted by the Grier Queens. That's all we know.
It's a MacGuffin. Oh, no, we do know that Kuva is also used to... Oh, shit, what was the name of the damn thing? Create cephalons.
Oh, really?
Yes. It is really clearly stated. No, not stated. It's so heavily implied with...
In the order stuff, is it?
Yeah, really, because it's like, basically, when... Auden Karis. Do you know the lore for Ordis?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, so when Auden Karis basically kills himself to kill one of the Orokin leaders, I don't know if it's Ballas, they sort of like laugh and mock at him as he's sort of like bleeding out on the floor, and they give him Kuva, and then all of a sudden he remembers being Ordis as it shreds his mind. He describes it as it is it's disintegrating his mind. He can feel it shredding his mind, and he just wakes up as Ordis.
So Kuva has possible meanings in 2 languages. In Marathi, it means a well or a cavity in which is fixed the mast of a vessel. In Sanskrit, it means a flower or a lotus.
Oh,
Kuva also means picture in Finnish.
Cool.
That's clearly the one that they went with.
But the big thing, like, I don't know. Oh, and I also think Kuva's used for the transference process as well.
Yeah, it is used. There's the Teshin line, actually. Some believe Kuva to be the blood of Orokin ancestors, an elixir of immortality. Others believe Kuva to be a poison, a corrupting oil that brings madness and evil. I believe it is both.
Yeah. So it's...
Clearly, it is the sarcophagus from Stargate.
da, 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 da. Oh, and there's a DS here. Right, so what were we talking about? I might actually watch that while I'm back at my posts.
Kuva.
But I
Kuva
don't...
and the sentience. Is there any link between the Kuva?
But, like, why would I don't understand. Why would the sentience want Kuva? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not been. If anything, I would have thought the sentients would want to destroy organic life to then have nothing to worry about when it comes to, oh, we're just gonna rule everything. We're just gonna exist and be what we want to be.
Hmm.
I mean, we had the topic, was it last week, where there's a lack of motivation for the sentients. So
Yeah.
I cannot see the sentients ever wanting Kuva. And if it turns out they do want the Kuva, then why? I don't understand. Right. I like the idea of where this event proposition is going. I do not think that the Eidolons could, like, when they become whole, I would see them more as, well, they just have their extra arm. I think they would be less stupid.
But I don't get it. Is it they're just missing their arm, or that they're all parts of a whole?
I think again.
Oh no! I think you're right. It is supposed to be that it's just makes an arm, and then they copy pasted it to make the additional ones to give us additional fights. But it's supposed to just be a completed Eidolon is just with an arm, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think the point was that a downed sentient sort of like broke apart into Eidolons, like, you know, different parts being different. But the things like the Rhodopolis was supposed to be on the planes, and then we were supposed to have a fish-based Eidolon, which we never got. The
flight-based one, yeah. And that makes sense, because then you could sort of put them to. They'd be different, so that you could kind of assemble them Voltron style and get a thing. Instead, we've just got Eidolon A, B, and C, all with missing arms. It's like, this is never what was intended.
But I cannot. I mean, the idea of, I don't know, like, so one thing that doesn't make sense to me, and I was talking, I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but the plot of the sentience doesn't make any sense, right? So the idea was that the sentients were sent to Tau, which is like 11 point something light years away, so that they could create the gate at the other end to allow void-based travel, right?
Yeah.
So there were supposed to be 2 gates to travel between the void to get from the origin system to Tau in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So
solar rails.
Yeah, exactly, right? So the problem in my mind is, if the Orokin sent the sentients to Tau via the void, then they're neutering their workforce, which to me sounds like a stupid idea, because you need the workforce to build the gate on the other side, right?
No, I think...
But here's the thing. So I imagine that they didn't do that. But then if they
didn't...
I
think it was... It's too much for it.
Oh. Hold on. But if they didn't do that, why would the sentients come back to the origin system through the void, neutering themselves?
Yeah, I think it's too much exposure to the void does it. And I think sending them out there, I still think they have their duplication ability, but I think if they attempt the return trip, it's too much.
Then how did Hun Hao and, like, this is a huge...
What? How did Hun Hao what?
Get back and things? Did he go
he can't replicate. No, they can come back, but then they cannot replicate.
But then how is the Lotus, right? So on that assumption, right, Natar was conceived and born and whatever on the in Tau, right? Yeah. But then she's back in the origin system. How is she now mass producing sentience?
Well, first of all, she said she lost her ability when she came back, for one.
Yes, but she is now being used by Error and Ballast to mass produce sentience.
Yeah, I think so. It's just for pure fluff at the way it works. Is that to make her produce sentience, she's going to have to give something up. Like, that she could always... I was like, I could make that choice, but I have to lose something else. It's like... I'm going to go grimdark here, but it's like you could get an individual that can reproduce, but to put them back into reproduction mode, you have to lobotomize them.
I was wondering if you're going to say lobotomize. Yeah,
It's just an easy way because people understand it. But
yeah.
So normally the individual would go, I don't want to lobotomize myself. That sounds stupid. Also, if I'm lobotomized, who's going to care for my children? But then if you've got Era and Hunhao and other things, they're like, I'm going to use you for this. I don't give a damn about you. I'm going to lobotomize you, and then you're going to be my tool.
The other thing
it's pretty grimdark.
The other thing I don't understand is that, so say the sentients, they got to Tau, either the long way or the short way, but they're not chemically neutered yet, right? If they're in Tau, why did they, again, this is coming back from last week, why did they decide to turn around and go like, we're going to pick a fight with you? Right? Yeah. Why don't you just stay in Tau and be happy?
So that this is my one worry with the Warframe plot is that we when we were getting cinematic quests, they were kind of like in a bubble, complete, and now it's gone very frayed. I think is the good term for it, and disconnected from all these little snippets, and it's hard to see the full picture anymore. I imagine what you got a war, right? So the Orokin made a tool, they sent it there. The tool has some form of sentience, and then it decided, no, I'm not going to do what you want. So what happened next? Well, either the AI just decided, I must destroy my creator because it's there. I don't know why. That doesn't seem very logical to me. But what more likely happens to me is the Orokin got worried, and so I think they blew up the Tau solar system. They just sent like a super nuke through. Because if the Orokin perceive them as a threat, they're now there on the solar system. Eventually, if we don't stop them, they are going to come. They're going to build their own civilization. You know, we can't. We need to get there. They've stopped us getting there. They're not building the other gate for their end. If we can't just leave them there to do what they want, because eventually they will find a way back. Give them 1,000 to 10,000 years. We need to stop them. So the sense is like, hey, we've got this cool solar system, non-polluted, non-poisoned. Hey, we're just going to chill. We're just going to be peaceful. We don't care about no Orokin, no bosses who made us. Nah, we're free from them. And then the Orokin go, deploy super nuke. Screw you. You're too much of a hazard now. You've defied us. We will not be defied. I mean, that sounds Orokin enough. They're being defied by their own creation. That sounds like they pissed them off very much. Sends a super nuke for you. Their solar system, which they thought was full of resources, was really great for the sentients that were going to live. They're like, wait, there's nothing here anymore. We need to get back to the other solar system where there at least is some resources, and also get revenge for the fact they blew up our solar system that we were like, this is ours now. That would then give them the motivation.
I suppose, but then the question is, like, the whole point was we were supposed to go to Tau or the Orokin wanted to expand to Tau so that they weren't going to collapse on themselves. They needed the resources. But
they probably did a trade-off. Yeah, they probably did a trade-off. It's like, right, okay, we made it. This didn't work. We didn't make it to Tau. Well, we have the void now. We can travel massive distances. Maybe that it'll take them longer to figure out another way, but they can travel to Alpha Centauri. They can travel
which is supposed to be closer anyway.
I don't know. Well, they can find another. They probably like, wait, we can find another solution. We'll find somewhere else to go to. I mean, I think they probably pick. I mean, they may just pick that because it's the closest. I mean, like when you go shopping, right? Where do you go shopping, Drew?
Closest location. No, but Tau is not closer than Alpha Centauri.
Okay, but that's the thing, right? But okay, but still, right. Where do you go shopping, Drew? Where do you go shopping?
Around the corner.
Right, which shop?
Tesco's.
Why don't you come all the way to Wolverhampton to go to Asda?
But that's what they're currently doing. They're going all the way to Wolverhampton to go to Asda when Tesco's is just around the corner.
I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what's in Alpha Centauri. Maybe there's no Kuva there or something. I don't know. You know, maybe there's something unique they can see in the Tau solar system they want, or it's just better, and this is a better option. I mean, yeah, you could. Maybe it's a case of yes, you could go to the Tesco on the corner, but you know what? You need some extra stuff from the superstore that's 2 miles away, so you're just going to go to the superstore, even though there is the one on the road.
No, I get what you're saying, right? But it's really interesting. I really wish that they'd flush out some of this stuff. Like, again, my big concern for Heart of Deimos is that they go to this huge extent about explaining who Mother is, explaining who...
The family.
Yeah, explaining how the
void thingy,
the first
theory thing.
The Necromax. They don't, but they don't explain anything about the infested. I'm like, come the fuck on! The planet is literally infested. That is my biggest concern. Like, it's like, oh my god, there's more. It's like going to Italy, and the only thing that you put any effort into investigating or experiencing is the food and the alcohol. I'm like, yeah, but what about like all the monuments, all the sculptures, like the scenic locations, the people, like anything, and all the art? And it's just like, no, I'm just here for the food and the wine. Like nothing else matters. I'm like, it's waste. It's waste. Anyway.
So, I guess looking at the other open worlds, how are they like to do it? Do we know if we're getting a quest with it? I assume we're getting a quest.
Yeah.
So the Orvalis quest did an okay job of explaining the both sides. Like, you knew what Neff was doing, you knew what the Voxelaris, what they were doing. You got a little bit about the background of the characters. You saw what their objective. I could tell you what the motivations of both sides were. I could tell you why they were there. I could tell you what was going on. So for the planes, okay, that quest wasn't as good. It's a steel rose in a box.
Well, what about the deadlock protocols? Like,
No, I'm specifically looking at open worlds. I'm specifically looking at
okay, fair enough. But like, it just feels their writing style. I don't know if it's Cam Rogers or anyone else, but the writing style for the quests feels like, we answer a few questions, but we ask a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's been the way Warframe has worked for years, and I think they need to sometimes now they need to just purely answer some questions.
Yeah,
maybe only ask one instead of several.
Yeah, just tie up some loose ends, please.
Yeah, tie up some loose ends. So you've got loads of threads or story plots and threads. I think a few of them need to be tied off now so that we can get a clear path, because there's so many different directions.
I've just realized the true reason why they're moving the derelict to Demos, right?
Parking fine?
No, wait, hold on. No, I thought it was fixing a plot hole. No, I'm wrong entirely.
What were you going to say?
I thought, my brain went to, the derelicts, that's where Mutalist Alad V is. So they're bringing Mutalist Alad V to the solar system before he gets cured of the infestation in, what's the name of the place?
Eris?
No, Neptune, when you do the second dream, right? But then it's like, but of course you then get, you got Mutalist Alad V before you have regular Alad V.
Yes,
but anyway, yes, no, you're right. He's on Eris, not on the derelicts. I'm being dumb.
Anyway, the initial topic was about a concept about having the Eidolons be some sort of event to become sentient again.
But it doesn't. Like, I'm fine with that. The Kuva thing, just no.
Yeah, the Kuva. Yeah, we've gone that little bit about Kuva has just led us down this giant rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I like the idea of a multi-stage event. I like the idea of revisiting the planes. I like the idea of looking at the Eidolons again. I haven't done the fish stuff. I felt too much of that story was hidden away, to do with Gara, to do with the Eidolons, to do with the Unum. And they put this really cool tower in. It's like, are you going to do anything with this tower? Oh, it's like it constantly grows and they feed off of it and they cut meat. That was like one of the pivotal opening scenes of Plains of Eidolon. Never touched on again. I really feel the Unum and that tower is just like,
yeah.
Is this a way of doing stories that you input? Do you know what Chekhov's gun is?
No.
So Chekhov's gun is a story writing tool. If you have in an early scene, let's say in chapter 1, the character will point above a mantelpiece and say, "This is my prize rifle. I used it to hunt a giant elephant on the plains of Africa. It was amazing." And then later on, that gun has to come back and be important. Like, you can't just be like, "Look at this," or like a magic sword. Let's say, "Look at this magic sword. It is the slayer of all things.
Yeah,
if it is drawn, it will kill the ultimate enemy." And then later on, you fight the ultimate enemy, and the sword's never mentioned. It's like you can't just what?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. It's like, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I like what's his name, Tarantino so much, because he puts so much pulp in like real life sort of things where you talk about the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, but you never really allude to what was in the briefcase. Right?
That's a mystery box though.
No, but that's the sort of shit that I like, because you watch like any form of movie.
Oh, sorry. I got a better description. Sorry. Chekhov's gun is a concept that describes how every element of a story should contribute to the whole. It comes from Anton Chekhov's famous book Writing Ice. If in the first act you have hung a pistol on the wall, then in the following one it should be fired.
Yeah, so it's like a similar example, more modern day example. I was going to say society. More modern day example is with Doctor Strange, where they showed off the eye of Agamotto. Yeah. And it's like, this is the eye of Agamotto. Only the Sorcerer Supreme can use this. So now we know that the eye of Agamotto is going to be used, and Doctor Strange is going to be the Sorcerer Supreme.
I mean, could you imagine if they finished that movie and all the other films, and the eye of Agamotto was just still never mentioned? It's like, are you going to do anything with that?
Well, no. It's no. If it's mentioned and nothing's done with it,
nothing's done with it, especially when they needed it and could have used it. Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing.
I know. Like, anyway, I kind of like that occasional misdirection. Like, it's some of Joss Whedon's best stuff. Let's not go down that route.
Right.
If you want to say one thing, I will say
it's important to flesh out things. That's important, that you are adding more depth to it, right? But when these things are important, they can't just be left idle permanently. Yeah. It's like, if like the Chekhov gun, let's say if they had a fight and just didn't use the gun, it's like, why didn't they use the gun? It's like, you pointed it out and everything. So I can understand like the Unum is like, oh, it's fleshing out how the Austrons, this, that, and the other, and giving more depth to them and everything. It's like, yeah.
But is there not more to the Unum?
Yeah. You don't, it was such a great thing to add in, to flesh out. You could have done it in such other minor ways, like, oh, they're just protected by a magical Orokin energy shield. You didn't have to give it all the extra depth and the character and this personality and all this background story. It's like, you can't do... Yeah. Anyway, topic, though, is fine. I do like the concept of it. Go back to the Eidolon's multiple stage event. Shall we go on to
replies?
Honestly, I think the fight should be Hunhao. Ooh, we never fully beat the guy, and we know he is fuck off humongous like Eidolon, and he's a major villain. Yeah. Can't agree more. Yeah, Hunhao needs to come back. Is huge. Empyrean Railjack fight when. If only there were a game mode that involved a series of challenging and interconnected missions that built toward a goal or boss fight at the end and could include up to 8 players. That would be a good fit for this idea.
Don't know what you're talking about. Nope, no idea. Never existed.
Only problem I see is original Eidolon was huge, and I mean huge. All these sentient-looking mountains are part of that Eidolon. Oh, really?
No, that's again a misconception. So
let me finish this point, which to me looks bigger than the sentient carrier from Empyrean. So what are you saying?
So the sentients come in different shapes and sizes, right? As you said, Hunhao was massive, right? But there's the remains of a sentient scattered throughout the entirety of the plains. But then if you go to the eastern coast, you can see another sentient on the horizon, like over the horizon. You can see it towering over, where there's like a storm constantly going on, right? It's do you know where I'm talking about?
No, and I want to go look at it now. Why didn't you point this out on the 24 hours on the plains?
I would have, right? It's so. Do you know when you come out of Cetus, you go?
No, it's fine. Yeah, I'll save it for me and point it out to me another time.
You cannot miss it. You just and I think that is not necessarily like the original sentient, but it's just one of them, right?
Right.
So it may have been the sentient that spawned the smaller sentients.
So this is like a batch of sentients that attack the tower, and that's just another one.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, the last comment is, this event could kick off them introducing a sentient open world area. We already have 2, with Heart being number 3 in just a week or so. Next, we need an Orokin and sentient area, and this event could be like a prelude to it.
We don't need like thematic areas.
We know, we don't. Yeah, I would like a 4th area. I'd love open environments. I really think they add much to the game. 3's the minimum I thought we needed, and I would like to see more. I know it takes a lot for them to do them. Personally, I'd like to see a pure underwater one. I think that would be cool.
The problem I have with them is just like, and now again the whole open-ended shit. Like, I hope the Mycoans make an appearance in Deimos. right? They're all about the bloody infested. What What about Arlo? I think that's his name. With the whole emissary Nightwave. Can we get some of that shit going on? Because I mean, that wasn't resolved, was it?
I don't think so.
No, exactly. So Arlo just sulked back into the darkness. Again, like.
I mean, you have pointed out that you really want to see some background story for the infested on the new open area. Yeah, that's what you're saying.
This I'm specifically referring to. Why can't we have older elements of narrative come back to the newer stuff? Right? The fact that we've got.
So, for instance, why can't the wolf attack the planes? Why can't?
Yes. Why can't the wolf attack the planes? Why can't the wolf get all like, anti Vahek mad? And why can't Tilragor have a fleet of Fomorians? Right? Why can't the Elder Queen? Why can't the Worm Queen get enough Kuva for the Elder Queen to resurrect her? There's so. It seems that these characters do not exist without us being present, and that's the thing that I hate the most.
Right. Last one. Oh no, that was it. No, that's it. Let's move on.
That's it. Right. Okay. Enough of Xeno's rants.
Well, that's why I like we've now got multiple topics, because some topics are important. Like the first one, I think we're talking about the function of the game, the importance of mechanics and Railjack. This one, in fact, we thought it was Railjack. I don't think we even mentioned Railjack at all. We're talking about the background and the function and the story and the motivation and the plot. And see, we've got more topics. They're good.
Cool. All right.
I hope everyone at home is enjoying this.
Yes, and not just listening to Xeno rant like a lunatic. Right, so let's move on. We're going to move on to the graphs. Graphs.
Yep.
How do I even look at them?
I do my job.
Oh, is that them? Oh, is that them there? Haha, it is. Right. Okay, cool. So Loz is taking down the time?
Yeah.
Loz is taking down the time. Right. So moving on to the graphs from last week. This is right, isn't it? We're not doing this wrong, are we?
How do you generally... Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So the first graph of this week. How do you generally communicate?
Before you start, I will explain them for anyone's listening. So these are the questions we asked last week, and if you go into the description of this video, you will find a link to a Google page on which you can fill in information and answer these questions. This is us asking you guys what you think about the topics we talked about from last week, and we want feedback from you. And we really do love going through these. So please.
Yeah.
Go in the description of the video, do put in your, go to the Google link, go fill in the questions, and we'll talk about them. So we go here.
Cool. Right.
We love feedback.
We do. Right. So how do you generally communicate while playing Warframe? 3% said voice over IP, 16% said that they didn't, and 81% said text chat. We had 31 people respond.
That's shocking. It's questions like things like this which really make me feel like sometimes I'm different to the average player, and because I hardly ever type in chat.
Yeah, no, I completely concur. I am.
Maybe we should try that. Maybe we should try playing Warframe for a session with just chat.
I've tried, and it's like most of the time I find that I just talk into the vast nothingness. So, but it's different strokes for different folks, right? So, I'm surprised that voice over IP is as low as it is.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone should vote. Everyone should vote, because that I feel that number's wrong.
I mean, if I'm going to play a long time with somebody, I'll even get them onto Discord and tell them, "Oh, download this Discord thing." So.
Right. So the second graph, does Warframe have too many unskippable cutscenes? 32% said yes, 68% said no.
Fair.
That's interesting.
Still quite a fair amount on yes, but yeah, fair enough. People are okay with it.
Cool.
People like seeing their cool frames.
Yeah. The third question, third card. Do you care the Tenno don't have motivation for fighting? 29% said no, 71% said yes. honestly, I am pleasantly surprised. I genuinely thought it was going to be something the other way around, or 50-50. So I am very surprised and happy about that.
Nice. Yeah.
And the last question: are you still holding out for a New War cinematic quest? 26% said no. 74% said yes.
Yeah. There's also, by the way, you pasted a question of how do you feel about 10 o'clock structure. Was that repeated again?
Yeah, I'm just repeating it to just.
Oh, but you said this is the last graph, but we're not doing that one.
Sorry, the last graph. Fine, I'm bad. Okay,
it's fine.
Right. I also just realised the topics were still scrolling on the bottom. I apologise, everyone. Right, the last card is: how do you feel about last week's episode of 10 o'clock? 6% said negative, 26% said neutral/don't care, and 68% said positive. Anyone in the neutral/don't care or negative, if you want to leave us like a comment saying or message me, if
they
you
don't
want
care.
or if you want to message me privately because you don't want to incur any wrath, or you want to talk about it and things, just message me, and we will discuss on how we can improve better.
The wrath of Loz talking to you in the comments.
Yeah, Loz, how could you? Right, so that's it for the graphs. Let's move on to the next bit of the show, which is the Patreon questions.
Joshua Minnick says, in the process of obtaining the entertaining and amusing...
supporter questions.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Must improve supporter questions. In the process of obtaining the entertaining and amusing memes of 10 o'clock, would there perchance be any possibility for there to be...
What? What's the question? What's the question, Lars? Lars, are you dying?
He gets a point.
What was the question, Lars?
Oh, hang on. He needs a point for this. Joshua. Excellent trick. Supporter.
I don't understand. What was the question, Lars?
What episode is this? 356.
Yeah.
5, 6. Right. I will now finish it. In the process of obtaining an amusing means of 10 o'clock, would there perchance be any possibility for there to be an increase into these? Say, for a future episode, the number is increased twofold? We might even say double mean. You still got a point. I will get to that when I'm talking in the comments, because there's other people who've done other things, so I will say something on that in a minute. Okay, anyway. Also from Joshua, hypothetical situation to be resolved. In an improbable situation where there is a group of motorcyclists being chased down by a Valkyria on a motorcycle, she uses Ripline to pull them off their seats, can tear them apart with her talons, and blast them away with her paralysis shout. The real question in this scenario is whether her war cry slows the riders and motorcycles, or slowly the riders. Thoughts? It would slow the reaction speed of the riders, but not the actual speed of the motorcycles.
I disagree, because when you have like Frost's crazy crap and things, like you fall through the air slower.
Right, like, but that's just void physics.
Being cold, yeah, so
But that's affecting you and gravity. What you're now saying is that yelling affects the speed at which an engine runs.
Void magic.
If
you just use that against me, I'm going to use it against you.
Well, it makes sense for gravity, because void magic and gravity go together. But if you frosted the bike, I could appreciate that would then move slower, even though it really wouldn't make that much sense. But you're using
void magic to frost things
through
yelling, gravity.
So Valkyria yelling affects how engines run.
Hey, it manages to slow people down for some reason.
It scares them. What's wrong with that?
Slower.
Makes sense. Psychological. But a bike doesn't have a brain unless it's an AI bike. Nick Evans.
Still don't have a brain.
Question for Loz. I've decided that we need to replace June with one of the other months because I don't like it. So instead, we'll have January, February, March, April, May, July, and so on. On top of this, I think that we should have 60 days in each of the two instances of May, do you think this form of double May? Evans gets a point.
Oh. I love you guys.
This form of double May is acceptable, or would you rather do 10 o'clock double May instead? As a side note, this question wasn't 100% intended to inflict psychic damage to Xeno as well.
I'm fine.
Do you mean it buffs him from watching my pain? I think it's what you'll actually find.
Yeah.
Is what it's like.
Double May.
May.
Hey, I mean, it gives me 2 birthdays. I mean, I'm fine with that.
Double I'm going to stop this. So I'm going to stop this. Nick Evans. In the unlikely event of a water landing, the exits are located at the front and rear of the aircraft, on both sides. Does this mean that new Zephyr Deluxe will feature emergency evacuation slides if she falls into a lake on the planes?
Yes. I like that.
Zrugal asks, what's your favorite kaiju? Ooh.
Oh, God, I haven't put any thought into... I don't want to say Godzilla because... I mean, I really like the not Godzilla from the 1998 Godzilla movie. Apart from... Oh, God.
I'm going with Slattern, the one Category 5 in the first Pacific Rim film, the one that comes out at the end. He's pretty cool.
I can't think.
Okay. But, well, table that for next time. Keep asking it, Zrugal. Don't forget. Keep chasing him. Zrugal then also asks, well, seeing as people can ask me about double memes every week, there you go. Ask, do you know what his favourite kaiju is?
Sure.
May. Zrugal asks, do you think it's acceptable if Plague Star Zor parts were available in Demos? No, I don't think they should be, because Plague Star is actually one of the few successful repeatable events they've done, and people want it to come back lots. And even I will do it a couple times when it comes back. I do like Plague Star coming back, and it has unique components. And it's like, oh, that's really rare. It's really useful. Not the end of the world. There are any components. You can still use Zors. You just can't do these Zors, and you can't do these Zor Arcanes or whatever. But it comes back. It's like, yay! In fact, we need more of that with more little exclusivity, not less. So no, it's like how I mentioned earlier. One of the few reasons for doing the I don't remember what the air map's called. The end level map in the Railjack is to get the arm cannon, which I've forgotten the name of already.
Shadow.
The Shadow, and then by giving it away in Scarlet Spear, Xeno, for instance, has no reason to even bother finishing Railjack. Because he's got it. It was one of the really cool exclusive things for, hey, you've worked your way through Railjack, go get this cool weapon. No, he just got it to Scarlet Spear. So he doesn't have to do it. That exclusivity is unique, so no, you shouldn't do that. What do you think?
Though, logistically it makes sense, I'm in complete agreement with Loz.
Ozadax, if you can't get a cosmetic skin for the Helminth mouth, what orbiter decorations will you use to upgrade its appearance?
All of them. Mostly argon crystals.
I didn't consider doing that. Can I block it off so I don't have to look at it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or you just fill its mouth with argon crystals. Make it look like it has teeth.
Oh, so you're going to basically build the argon decoration we never got out of Helminth and argon crystals?
No. The thing we wanted was the ability to make the argon decoration from having argon.
A argon decoration from 100 argon, yeah.
Yeah. But we didn't get that.
Ozadax also says, as of writing this question, Wally has appeared in my orbiter after every mission I've done for the last 3 days. Should I be worried? Fine. Don't worry about it.
Only if he starts consuming, or she, consuming your supply of...
Flurbo.
Flurbo, yeah. That you keep safely stored in your Helminth fridge. Right,
that's it for the Patreon questions.
Do you think the reason why do you think the reason why we have a Helminth mouth now is because we didn't clean out the Helminth chamber, the bed chamber? And it's just like Yeah.
I do feel a little bit annoyed they got rid of that bed.
Yeah.
I like that bed was there.
Yeah. Anyway,
I wanted to see anyway. So let's move on to the community. I think
responses.
Yes. However, I have to get rid of that so I can actually see what the clock says.
What does the clock say? All right.
Quiet. Your quiet time now. Right, so let's just have a look. We've got just a few points from last. Oh yes, right. So comments from last week's episode of 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
If you apply to an episode of 10 o'clock, I will read it before we start recording. So and thank you everyone for using timestamps. So if anyone doesn't know, just put the time in colons and YouTube will automatically pick that up and give it to me as a thing I can click to move to that timestamp in the episode. It does also, a lot of people have been using them, so it really does structure people's posts. It's really useful. Thank you very much for people doing this. Much respect. JJ24, the last guest was 10 o'clock 332 featuring Tatsu, released March 9th 2020. Wow, time flies.
Yeah,
really does.
Thank
you very much for that.
Yeah, thought it'd be March.
Illidrian, Xeno and LOZ's mum should be guests on one podcast just for shits and giggles.
No, I can't do that to my mum.
I can't do that for him. I mean, I know, like, for instance, Markiplier does to his mum, and I'm just like,
my mum's 80. Like, she's going to be 81 soon, and she doesn't get technology. She'll just be screaming down the microphone the entire time. She does that to me on the phone. I have to have her on speakerphone just
now, let us get a comment from Xeno's mum. Ah! Thanks, Xeno's mum.
Right, no, it'd be like, what? I can't, what? What's a comment? I don't, what? She's not deaf, though she nearly is.
Devaru, Loz, double memes. You promised. Xeno said you did. And Xeno is always right.
Well, funny you should mention that.
Where's somebody, a certain someone telling Xeno was always wrong?
I summoned a certain...
I'm not done. Can I do mine first?
No. unless Rugal actually spoke. He actually messaged me last week.
Yeah.
I found the episode where Loz said he would do double memes. It was episode 331 at 34:15. But it was Anarchy Gaming and Devaro who first demanded it from the comments of episode 330. Thank you very much, Zrugal.
Thank you, Zrugal. So Xeno is always right, where's somebody to support me by saying Xeno is always wrong. You know who that you are. So double memes, please.
Awesome
pretty please. Double memes, please. Space Marines. Frosthawk 2815. Roses are red. We've had second dreams. Please, Loz, give us double memes.
Oh, that's awesome! That's fucking awesome.
That is really awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that one. So, fine. The thing is, do you know actually the thing is, right? So I was looking at the memes for this episode. I'm being serious about it. So the way I do the memes, just so everyone knows, is I go to the meme frame subreddit and I sort by the week, and then I in the last week, what are the top memes? Because I always want them to be fresh, right? I scrolled through a lot of memes to find the 6 this week, and I wasn't even really that happy with them. So some weeks it really isn't that worth the double memes. So what I'm going to do, I promise you will have double memes. You'll have your double memes, fine. You're not going to get them every week. They'll be special. I'm going to do it for 365 because we're going to do something special for 365. I think we're going to watch episode 1 of 10 o'clock because that'll be the year of 10 o'clock.
Oh, God.
And because that'll won't be topics, then you can have double memes. And what I'll do is I'm going to, instead of doing it by week, I'm going to go top voted of all time. And I know we've had some of those because I'm sorting each week by top voted. So I will go through those and pick the best and some of the best we have, mainly though, focusing ones we haven't had on. Though if one makes me laugh, I might even pull in Xeno because we've got to pick, give you doubles, so you get 12 for that week. And we will have a look and see which ones are our favourites and also ones we haven't had on before. There you go. So 365, I promise you we will have.
So they have to wait 9 weeks.
They have to wait. You want your double memes?
No.
You'll get your double memes.
Right.
Ready.
You know, he said it again.
Promise.
He's promising a second time.
I'm gonna put it with a points list because there we go. Then we'll remember. So it's next. What have I done?
What have you done?
Okay. I don't know what I've done. Why has everything gone weird?
Where have you done it?
In Notepad++.
Well, that was your mistake. Moving on.
Yes, very bad. But I'll just put it in here. I need to put it in so I won't forget. There, right. Paste. Double memes.
Memes.
Or memes. May. Deary me. Right. So, is that it? Just I think there's a little bit more. Chris Mahan, I think they should redo the Sergeant boss fight and make it a 2-phase fight where you kill him like normal, but then a mini cutscene plays and he gets into a giant mech like the Necromech or something to fight you. That I think is awesome. I like that idea. Give him a 2-stage fight. The Sergeant's rework is deserving of him being a complete and utter badass at this point. He has been the punching bag for too long. It is time he starts punching back.
I agree with this, but
with robot fists.
I would like it if there was a random element to his fight. So the second
so phase 2 is different every time?
Not every time, but it obviously has a pool that it can choose from, yeah.
So sometimes he gets in a giant robot, sometimes he gets in a flying robot, sometimes he gets an army of clones or something.
Or an underwater robot, yeah.
I don't know how it just falls out because you're not underwater. I don't know. Right,
well, no, I'm just thinking, like, you know, maybe it's the first boss fight in the entire game that's underwater.
A name. Why hasn't anyone mentioned the fact that Lotus prattles on all the time about bringing balance to the system and protecting innocent colonists? I assume the whole point of finding and killing Corpus and Grineer VIPs was to destabilize them and prevent any one side getting control of the system. Yes, thank you very much. Their name is A Name for bringing this up. This used to be, before all the cinematic quests, that was what a thing. It was all talking about the balance. Even going back to Gravidius Dilemma, which was the Holy Gravidius, there was talking about the balance. Couldn't choose one side.
The Holy Dilemma.
The Holy Dilemma. There we are. The Holy Dilemma. It shall be known. It shall be known. So thank you very much for that. Yeah, that's what it is. And that's kind of faded away. But that is a very nebulous but useful concept, like trying to build a balance. So it means that we're never looking to completely remove the Grineer, and they're evil, but we're not looking to have them destroyed, but we don't want to let them destroy other people. That kind of worked, but that's just disappeared. It's very sad. Last few comments quickly. The Captain Pack. So not only that, but when you hit a Rhopodopolus into one of the generators, another unskippable cutscene, it spawns enemies that are shooting at you before you even gain control of your character, even in solo. Not a huge issue, but a pain in the ass nonetheless. Yeah, very good point. There will be pain. In reference to the size of Ballas and Mother, they're like not actually giants. It's a stylistic choice to make them uncanny large in life, aka Dark Souls enemies. Yeah, I think World of Warcraft does that kind of thing as well.
It does.
And lastly, JJ24 says Xeno misspelled unskippable. Xeno.
Did I?
You did. I think that's in the cards. I meant to bring that up in the cards and I forgot. So there we go. So let's move on to the memes.
Memes.
Yeah, I'm not too happy with the crop this week, but we'll go. We'll go for them. So meme number 1. Boom.
Whoa. You have a job to do. You do your job.
I've got it in my head. I'm doing it.
Do your job now.
I'm doing it. It's in my head.
Yeah, we can't.
You're not doing your job.
You can't start and then like get the time wrong.
No, but I have it in my head. You can push the button while I was trying to Gantt diagram.
Well, why isn't it working? There it is. You haven't even put the memes in the topic. I can't see them.
You don't get to see them.
Oh, fuck you.
I haven't actually got... Yeah, you're going to have to go get the thing up. I completely forgot to do that. Yeah, I know I forgot something this week.
Hold on.
Yeah, I can't think of a better way of doing it.
I'm just gonna open the doc. Sorry, the images. That's the wrong screen, game.
My thing's also cut off the titles. Oh, does it always cut off the titles? I don't know. I don't think
sometimes
the cutting tool worked quite well that time.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened here for this one. So anyway, Saren pollutes the air to kill. Gara uses glass to her advantage. Valkyria. I don't know what the title was on that one, but yeah.
Awesome.
Number 2. I get the title on this one now, so I've got them up again.
Number 2.
Me watching a YouTube video, DE's ad every 5 minutes. Now, I put this one in here. You haven't been getting these, right?
No, but I subscribed to YouTube Prime because it's like...
right. Because every 5 minutes, every video, I'm getting a video. And it starts with, Protea is the enforcer and the defender or something. I'm just like, stop talking about Protea every advert. It's like they love Protea. There's a lot of Deadlock Protocol ads going up. So there we go. And
really?
So anyone else who can appreciate? Yes, I have had so many of them. Deadlock Protocol. Protea is the defender and the avenger. All the time.
Recently?
Yes, for the last 3 months, I've just been getting DE ads on YouTube.
Never had one. Never. I got into YouTube Prime. Is it Prime or Premiere? Premium? Premium, whatever. I got into it recently, like within the last couple of weeks, because all I fucking get is goddamn Grammarly ads.
Right.
Yes, I'm dyslexic, but I don't want a fucking spell checker.
So the comment, first our comment is, oh my god, algorithm, I am already playing Warframe. Frick off. And that's my feeling as well.
Yep.
Moving on to meme number 3. Remember Major or the Mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas? Remember this guy? This is him now. Feel old yet? See, this one wasn't much. This one actually wasn't very highly upvoted, but I think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's hilarious.
Yep. Meme number 4. It's true. Me, when I see an argon crystal, knowing damn well that I won't use it.
Yep.
I don't get it. That one is, this one, massively upvoted. I'm like, okay. It's weird this week of the memes this week. Meme number 5 for Xeno. Says 4 upvotes. I'm very excited now.
Yeah.
Bosses that are very excited now. Typical. Bosses that are not very excited now. Bosses that expected more. And Xeno's in the way, but there's a killer ditherm there at the bottom.
Yeah.
And last meme of this week.
I would have also appreciated it if that was like Caleb Dethame, like high as a kite or whatever. You know, it's like bosses that are high as a kite.
Yeah. Last meme of the week. Man in the wall will become real in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Warframe retweets. Rap, tap, tap. The Independent. Mysterious heartbeat detected coming from cosmic gas cloud. Oh no.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love when real life echoes these things.
Yep.
Right, that's it for the memes. Community shoutouts.
Cool. Right. Okay. Community shoutouts. Good to go. You haven't written down the time yet.
Well, it was as I was about to type it down, somebody paused it and made us go away. And now we're back.
No. We don't break the curtain, Loz. We don't show them behind the wall. Right, behind the veil curtain. Right, you good to go?
When you pause it, it hides the time.
They don't know if we paused it. Okay, moving on. So, first community shout out of the week is Clem Fall Guy by Cole Rudge.
Do you know? Okay, I bowed. Xeno was like, "Let's play Fall Guys." I played Fall Guys. I was not going to hold my pride and hold my nose up. I know everything under the sun wants to get itself into Fall Guys right now. I think this looks really cool. This looks really cute. I'm really interested to see what we actually get brand wise into Fall Guys. Are Fall Guys going to go, no, we're not going to do anything, or are they going to do?
No, they're pimping it. They're pimping it like nuts. They're doing this charity event thing, and last I knew. Oh gosh, Warframe was at the top of the charity. Like it was like a bid, yeah. But it was Warframe and another game. So like Warframe was saying like, do us and this game, and we'll pay you like 22,000 for this charitable cause. Then some like really dodgy like adult thing was trying to get in for like 500,000 or something like that. And like, no, you're not safe for work. We're not doing you. So,
yeah, kick them off. Oh, that's really interesting. I suppose Warframe are just like, look, Warframe thing, play Warframe. But
no, I quite like this. So
I love it. It's cute, and I love Grineer armor.
Shit! I accidentally hit the second one. No, wait, did I hit the third one? Crap, I hit the third one by accident. Somehow. My fingers didn't even touch the phone. Stupid phone. Right, second one. Second one is Hydroid Deluxe by Plick It.
As a wet frame main, that's the thing. It feels incomplete if I don't draw his Yak skin. I just love Liger Izuka designs.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool skin. Well, sorry, pretty cool picture. I feel it's going to be better than the actual skin game.
Yeah. I know, I feel like...
Sure.
So, like... Oh my god, I can't
The coat is where I drew the line. The coat was like...
So, I really like the colours and the shading in this. They quote-unquote, really pop. Right?
Yeah.
But... when I saw it at TennoCon, I was like, that's really flat. It's really bland. I don't know if it was some video compression or maybe if I got a hold of the skin, I could make the colors more vibrant. Yeah. But it just felt to me like really flat. But I love this. All right. Number 3.
Yeah.
We have... Excal can call the new teacher mom. Anytime He Wants by Joriel Ming.
Good morning, teacher. Hey, mom. New mom.
There's gonna be like one mother fan art, I'm pretty sure, every week. Especially considering this coming week it's supposed to come out. So it's just gonna blow up.
Oh, it's coming out on Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Which
the
is
day after
when
this.
everyone's seeing this, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
In theory, I should have also had another video come out on Monday as well, but see how that goes. Right. So then moving on to number 4. Now, while we were doing 10 o'clock last week, Hydroxate actually showed us this during the recording.
Afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it was afterwards. But I thought to myself, like, this is awesome. So Warframe XX 0.20 by S6M.
Yeah, I remember one of the things I saw this. I love this because it actually conceptualizes what it might be like inside the frame.
Yeah.
I always feel it's stupid where people go like, how does Loki see and the eyes are out here on that horrible thing? Or they look for dots on the mask and they say that's where the eyes are. It's like, no, there's a skull in there. They don't have to look out through eye holes.
Yeah.
It's yeah. So this though, this is very 40k-esque with the use of skulls. It's just cool. The grim darkness is just massive in this, and I just would love more of the sort of feel of the game.
I wonder how this was made. Because it looks more rendered than... So I'm wondering if they got like the original Warframes or whatever, and then rendered stuff over them.
Well, I think maybe if you get and they've probably remade the textures is what they've done. So they've probably taken the actual models out of the game, ripped it, stick it in something like Blender or 3D Studio Max or Unreal or something, then remodeled the extra skulls in, then re-updated the textures because they look better.
I'd be interested. I'd just be interested.
Right. They probably ripped the models because... You know.
The 5th community shout-out, 100 Velocipods by George Nimke. I think it's George. And... So they, DE, I think it was over the weekend, they put out a sort of like question poll thing. So they put out 9 pictures of various different things teased in, the Heart of Deimos reveal, and one of them was 50 Velocipods.
Right.
So this one is like 2 times 50 Velocipods. I think one of them was like 10,000. So the idea was you pick 2 to fight against the remaining 7.
Right. Oh, yes, defend 2 and they fight against the rest.
Yeah. And
I didn't see this tweet.
Yeah. So myself and Hydroxate both picked 20,000 maggots just to have an army. But this one was nice. The lovely depiction of Nezha Deluxe with an army of Velocipods. Right, moving on to the 6th and final community shout-out. Inspired Infested Orokin by Lukinu. I thought this was incredible.
So I've misclicked. We don't know yet if there are any infested Orokins people or if Mother is the only one. It didn't prevent from creating one. Wow.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love the detail. I love the pose. I love the amount of effort that's gone into this. It's just incredible.
Yeah. That I could just look at this for quite a while. It's just so many little details. The wrist things, the extra detail on those, very Orokin, the fingers, the nails.
Yeah,
I love the flowiness of hair. I'm always a big fan of long flowing hair. I love the way the infestation is working, like little plates on the cheek, and then down the side of one part of the chest, the protrusions for the arm, the obviously to cover one's decency, but still the Orokin sash.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. There's even like a bit of tattooing on this part of the right arm, as you can see. It's just it's amazing. I think they did mention there was more than just Mother. Because they go past them and they say, "Oh, they're sleeping or something now," or something, didn't they?
Yeah. Cool. Right. So that's it for the community shout-outs.
Big eyebrows. Sorry. They do have big, thick eyebrows. It's really like, prominent.
Now for the quote. My good sir, I'll take that on time.
So I say no. I must now write down the time. Where are we? Okay. There it is. Okay. It's a bit of a weird one this week. A bit meta. Okay. All right, ready? Let me move that screen. That way I'd have to do away from Mac. And then just can I scroll? There we go. Warframe! Attention, space ninjas! Warframe awaits! Do you have what it takes to save the solar system? It's not for the faint of heart. For once you embark upon your journey, there's no turning back until Warframe's complete. A count resets at the end of each game. Play again and again for different adventures.
What? So this is a movie.
It is a quote in a movie, yes.
Is this an advert within the movie?
I don't think so. I have not seen the movie, but I know of the movie.
Do you know if
I've seen? I doubt you have seen this movie. This movie didn't do very well. It's kind of, you will know, think game, right? Obviously, and you will know what they tried to base this movie off of, but kind of do it in the same universe, but of a different theme.
Could you repeat that statement because I didn't understand it?
So it is in. I think it was like, this is from 2005. It is similar to a kind of movie that's very popular that I know you have seen, and you've seen the redo of the film when we were talking about it recently. But they kind of, before they did the repeat of the film, wink wink, they tried to do the same sort of film but with a different genre. I'll read it out again. Warframe. Attention, space ninjas. Warframe awaits. Do you have what it takes to save the solar system? It's not for the faint of heart. For once you embark upon your journey, there's no turning back until Warframe's complete. Accounts reset at the end of each game. Play again and again for different adventures. So first of all, when I'm talking...
Okay. We spoke about this recently.
Yeah. No, what this universe is based in, but I doubt you'll get the name of this film because it didn't really do well, this film.
Okay, so
2005. Game film. Yeah, that's when this came out.
It's a video game movie adaptation.
No, not video game.
Board game?
Board game. What board game films do you know of? The famous one. Board game in a film. No, a board game in the film that you have to finish before all the stuff ends. Craziness is going.
I'm going to kick myself, aren't I?
Yeah, at this point. And we saw the remake of it, and you're like, I wanted to...
Oh, fucking hell, Jumanji!
Right, so they took Jumanji, and they wanted, in the Jumanji universe, to put a different theme board game. So you might not have seen this, but it is, even the trailers say, in the Jumanji universe...
Yeah.
But this one is space-based. I don't know if you're aware of it, then.
I don't think I am. What is it?
Zathura, a space adventure.
Oh, shit, no. I recognize the name. I've never watched it,
You'll probably recognize the cover art for it. It's got like a house in space.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the film, but nobody went to see the film. Does that make sense? It's interesting. They find a board game, but it's not Jumanji. It's Zathura, and it's to do with the same sort of thing where things come out of the board game, but it's space-based, not jungle-based. I don't think it did that well, though. Yeah.
No, I never actually watched it. Oh. Wow. 2005?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought it was older, to be honest.
No, I thought it was more recent because that was when I started university.
Yes, that would make sense, seeing as I started university in 2004.
What? No, I thought I was like midway through my degree when this came out. I literally just started then, 2005.
Yeah, you just said a minute ago when I started university.
Yeah, but I thought it came out more recent than that. So
okay.
Further into my degree.
Maybe it came out on DVD and you saw it or something.
Quite possibly. Right, okay, cool. Well, that's it for this week's 10 o'clock. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Don't forget, Loz is going to give us double memes on the 365th episode of 10 o'clock. Yes. What?
And you will have added up the total of badge wins by 365.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, so apparently Loz is committing me to that. And don't forget...
That was the trade-off. You don't get that. You don't get no double memes.
You promised double memes before you put me into the...
No, I started at the start of this episode. I did say that I was going to trade off for something, and then you talked, and that was it. That's the trade-off. You have to do it on no double memes. You'll probably get double memes.
No, Loz,
still, you have to. You have to add up.
Loz is freaking throwing in caveats now. But remember, next episode, we're going to be delayed. We're going to be coming out Tuesday at the earliest. I'll keep you informed via Twitter and Discord if there's any other delays. Cool.
And so when this comes out, do remember Heart of Demos is less than 24 hours away.
In theory. They could have problems and they go like, oh, it's the day after.
They committed to this day. I'm.
They also
I'm
committed to Christmas for New War.
No, well, that was Christmas. This literally is this date.
Yeah, but they had like an entire 2 weeks, if not a month, to do New War. It's a date.
Yes.
Date. We'll see.